Viewer discretion is advised.
Nashville Predators. How did you lose to the Yotes in 2012? In 2010, it looked like you were going to win Game 5 versus the Blackhawks, a team you were outplaying when you had a man advantage and their goalie was pooled. And this happened. And you lost that game and the next one. And of course, this moment. And Pecorine is just too good right now. Thomas Cigaran is a former healthcare executive. He founded and ran Healthways Inc. and also chaired AmSurge. I did read an article on how Cigaran hates long concession lines at Preds games, so I'm down with that because it definitely sucks to have to wait an hour just to get fried catfish at a game, wherever it came from. Home to one of the best goalie chirps in all of sports, Bridgestone Arena is located right in the heart of downtown Nashville. It's All Your Fault was started by the fans. Quickly caught on. They not only serve catfish, but the stadium also has a catfish tank, which they installed in 2017. Also, the arena looks like a giant gramophone replete with a needle to play old 45s. It's tough when you're starting out your NHL franchise and have to face the Legion of Doom. 7 different Flyers scored goals, led by John LeClaire with 2. Eric Lindros had 4 points and Rod Brindamore added 3. Carl Dykhouse was +1, and I mention him only because I like saying his name, Dykhouse. Back to shady business dealings as former stakeholder in the Predators William DiBiagio defrauded the team and eventually went to prison for lying to investors. He used some of the stolen money to buy a $25 million stake in the Preds. I wonder how many Subban dives that got him. Our second saber-toothed mascot in the league, G-Nash, is known to rappel from the rafters at Bridgestone and put pies in people's faces. Apparently, Nash and T-Rack, the Titans mascot, like to fight over thick girls.
Take a seat, Nashville. We need to have a talk. What are you doing? Why are you trying to take advantage of poor Stanley? What gives you the right to think you can just walk in here and do that? It's not a bad justification. You had your shot a few years ago. You blew it. It was a perfect storm of circumstances that have never been replicated. The year after that, you try coming back here with the President's Trophy. What'd you do with it? Imploding Game 7 against Winnipeg. Hate to break it to you boys, but that was their peak. They wouldn't get back to anywhere close to those great heights, and it's to the detriment of the team itself. What you see in front of you now is a group that's been disemboweled on the ice. The reasons why are vast and complex, but they all lead to the same result. Driving full speed into a brick wall. It can be shown in the past 2 postseason performances. Well, if you can call them that. Against Dallas in 2019, it was a train wreck. For a team that was alleged to have strong offensive talents throughout the roster, they couldn't score with a damn. The power play had all the potency of a fungal virus. There were serious questions that needed to be asked about the team, but they were all answered the following year in the qualifiers. Despite all the so-called ability they had, they couldn't beat Darcy Kemper. It wasn't even the Coyotes that beat them, it was Kemper. They failed to score on it. It was the official sign of their contending window slamming shut in their face. We all knew it. Nashville was far from their prime, but don't tell that to David Poile. The thing is, David Poile was a great GM in his heyday. Keyword here is was. Over the past few years, there's one comparison I have to him. Craig Patrick in his twilight. It's unfortunate. The game has started to pass him by, and it shows in a lot of the decisions he's made. He's shaken up the lineup quite a few times. He's brought in talent, but here's the problem. None of it fits the team style or chemistry. Kyle Turris, good player and looked like a great deal at the time they got him. He never fit in Nashville. He was out of place and fell off production-wise. They will now be remembering this time with a $2 million buyout penalty for the next 8 years. It keeps going, too. The 2019 trade deadline bringing in Mikael Granlund and Wayne Simmons? Good idea is if they fit the system. Mikael Granlund never had a place with Johansson, Bonino, and Turris as centers. Simmons would have been perfect if this were 2015. Keep it going. They traded PK Subban to shed salary and go big game hunting. In hindsight, that was a smart deal since PK fell off hard production-wise. Who do they go after with the savings, though? Matt Duchene at an exorbitant payday. He's a good player, but once again, not what they needed. He's a complimentary player who does best in the perimeter. They already have Victor Arvidsson and Philip Forsberg. They brought in a much pricier Kevin Fiala, who they traded a few months earlier. And that pricey forward has played away from what he's best at most of the time. If Matt Duchene solved the special teams issues, this video wouldn't be a thing. They didn't. The Predators struggled mightily since they didn't address the real issue surrounding their team: coaching. Peter Laviolette is a good coach, but he was past his expiration date in Nashville. It showed in aspects like the power play, which was mostly flaccid. During the middle of last season, Laviolette went into the recycled meat grinder of unemployed hockey coaches. They'll spend a few months in there and then get a new job. Firing Laviolette was needed, but here's where the issue lies. It's in his replacement. John Hines? You hired him? Did you not see how horrible New Jersey looked when he coached there last season? The god-awful defensive structure? The lack of preparation for games? PK Subban on the penalty kill? Anyone who saw the Devils last season felt a collision coming from a mile away. And with the goal disparity that Nashville has in the first period of games, such feelings were justified. They aren't as awful on defense as New Jersey was. Good, still doesn't matter. The Predators start out games sloppy and unorganized. And it shows on the score sheet. They look ugly. Be it by defensemen making risky forward passes, springing the opposition to flat-out breakdowns in the neutral zone. Once again shows issues with preparation and game planning. The same issues Hines had in New Jersey. Tell you what, you want the key to beating this team in regulation? Take penalties. Dead serious. Putting men in the penalty box is the key to beating the Predators. The coaching change has done absolutely nothing for the power play. It's still completely terrible. Wait, let me correct myself. It does a great job at generating momentum for the other team. When you watch their power play in action, it's bland. It lacks creativity, movement, and the high-end skill that is needed to make it work. It's the same formula every time. Give the puck to Yossi by the blue line. Set up Arvidsson and Forsberg by the face-off dots, and hope there's a fluke bounce or rebound to give them a prime opportunity. This isn't sustainable. The 1-3-1 umbrella isn't working. Nashville doesn't have the elite shot or the net front presence to fully optimize it. And what you get is one of the worst power plays in recent memory. So you might be saying these are just growing pains to a new power play scheme. You know what's funny? It's the same damn system Laviolette had. Hines hasn't changed much of anything. The memes of having a donut against Dallas? They're still relevant. But don't worry about that, they'll allow the Stars to have all the power play goals they can handle in a 2-game span. A penalty kill that's aggressive on the puck carrier? You expect that here? Those 8 goals they give up did a damn good job of inflating how bad they are shorthanded, though. And this time they should analyze what the likes of Tampa Bay and Florida are doing against them. Look at how they pass the puck on their power plays. It's everything Nashville's isn't. And it's also exposed more glaring flaws in their systems. With those failures, the only real ways of beating teams are with even strength play and Pekka Rinne being too good right now. Stopping everything in his path and bailing out the team in front of him constantly. There's only one problem with using him as a crutch. Pekka Rinne is 38. His time on the athletic coil is running short. His protege Jussi Saros has been a dud this season. The transition plan in net has faltered, thus leading to more losses. Yes, they have quite possibly the best goaltending prospect in ages in Yaroslav Askarov coming over soon. But considering the other issues on this team, it would be like spray painting over a heavily rusted frame. Ownership can be as frustrated as they want over the season. They can wax on about how this team should be winning more, but their issues aren't just on the ice. They're in the contracts and personnel. Out of this current core, name me the players you think are elite talents at the NHL level. The only person I can name in confidence is Roman Josi. Forsberg, maybe, but would you take him over guys like Panarin and Marner? Not really. The rest of their roster is full of players that are solid, but not part of a wholesome core. So when David Poile adds depth to the roster in free agency, he's merely spray painting over a heavily rusted frame. Every Borowiecki and Haula and Benning isn't going to save them, since it's not that he got bad players. It's that the core itself isn't enough to take them far in the playoffs. And he signed most of that core to bloated contracts. When does Colton Sissons deserve a 7-year deal? Are you hoping that Seattle takes him off your hands or something? Or is that for Ryan Johansson and his declining performances? I can't tell these days. I look at today's Predators and think one thing. This team is a mess. What you're seeing on the ice this season has been slowly developing for years. Reeks of desperation to cling onto a window that had shut much earlier than they would like to admit. Nowadays, though, they seem to be coming to terms with their situation. Rumors are swirling that they are about to blow it up. I agree with this, since the current core won't be able to get it done, but here's my question. Who's going to take on some of these contracts? You'll be selling low on the likes of Duchesne and Arvidsson. If someone even takes the Duchesne or Johansson deals on, they'll be eating a good deal of those cap hits. Apparently, they're thinking of trading Forsberg instead of Ryan Ellis, which I don't understand, but you get a nice return for Philip and Ekholm, too. Do you really want to waste it on a weak draft class, though? And on a coach that doesn't let the youth play that much this season? Nashville is in a situation they were in Game 6 of the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. A goal seems to be within reach. but an official calls it dead since he can't see the puck behind the goaltender. The rest of us that can look on in perplexity as such an easy call can be botched. The Predators are that referee. They either can't or won't see the issues that the rest of us can. And it's honestly hurting the team with every passing day. The cruelest irony for a team that's been catfished.
Speed, dropped, Radulov, across, Klingberg shoots, he scores!
It's another end to an exciting season for your Nashville Predators. This may be a horrible disaster for a team that had cup ambitions, but logic hasn't been our forte for a while. We should never dwell on failure. Positivity is the key to life. Smashville, are you ready to double down? Have some amazing new banners coming your way. First on the docket, your 2018-19 regular season Central Division champions. It means jack shit because they lost to a team rife with drama and mediocrity, but that isn't what's important in the history books. Think of the memories of this postseason. This just missed the cut. But you know what didn't? That power play. It was absolutely terrible by every metric and stat in the book. All the more reason to immortalize it. So much talent, yet so little movement and creativity. It's no wonder why we lost.
Effigy of Kevin McCarthy not included.
It doesn't mean we can't celebrate our paper accomplishments. Look at that best defense in hockey. They may have played like shit, but look at those names. Oh, that definitely deserves a banner. How about Pecorine? Such valiant sacrifice for an ungrateful team in front of him deserves something special. We are going to retire him. No, literally, we are going to hang his body from the rafters, just like we did throughout this series. I think this last one will touch all of your hearts. The season was inconsistent as hell. We were embarrassed against a team we should have beaten. The core may be getting stale and serious questions need to be asked, but fuck it. You know why? We're not Tampa Bay. Yes, we aren't the biggest laughing stock in these playoffs. Thank God for that. Thanks for joining us for the ride, Smashville. We look forward to seeing you for the banner raisings in the fall. You definitely want some more of this.
You suck.